So let's check out Lawless Baron, and this one is called Your Opinion Doesn't Matter.
What's up, everyone?
Yes, Your Opinion Doesn't Matter by Lawless Baron.
What's up, everyone? Today we're going to be going over why your opinion doesn't matter and your feedback doesn't really matter towards CIG in the Spectrum forums, or any sort of feedback on ships that you want to be developed, any sort of features you want in the game. And it's just, to me, it feels like it's something that's a waste of a breath and a waste of time. I see a lot of these threads in Spectrum.
I don't think it's a waste of time to bring your concerns to CIG via Reddit, Spectrum, Twitter, and whatever else they use. Twitch, I know a lot of their devs are on Twitch and visit a lot of content creators. I don't think it's a waste of breath. I just feel that sometimes what you would consider a concern is not a concern to everybody else. So you have to kind of look at it that way. And then also, they are in the process of making a video game. So your experience is going to differ from other people's experience. And on top of that, they're really not going to make any changes based on your one opinion versus thousands of others. I mean, unless they all line up and coalesce and all that other stuff, then yeah, maybe they're going to make some changes. But let's see what else he's got to say.
And I just feel that even though they claim to be a company for the community, a lot of stuff does get done by suggestions on previous features that are already in the game. But it feels like when you see a thread or you see someone stating some form of a game patch or some form of a suggestion for a ship to get gold passed or anything that they really want added.
Well, the ships, we're going to get into the ships later, but the backlog of ships, somebody figured it out. It's along the lines of 40 years worth of work that needs to be done. Now, that's not linear. That is 40 years worth of labor that needs to be put in. So that's a lot of work. And for you, myself, and I don't care if you're freaking morphologist with, what has he got? 2 million subs or whatever. What he wants is not going to trump what they have either already in the pipeline or what they want to do feature wise. So you can't come onto Spectrum, you can't come onto Reddit and Twitter and Twitch and all the other social medias that they run and be like, I need this ship done now because I want it now. It doesn't work that way. It's still their thing. So they're going to work on what they want to work on. They're going to work on what needs to be worked on. That's not for us to decide.
It doesn't. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your breath. Don't go suggesting something you have no idea about. Wait for them to bring what they want to bring. The ships that are in the past and need to be developed, like the Perseus, the Polaris, all those old ships, let them get there. Let them get to the time. As John Crew once stated in an ISC, if they cannot meet a deadline on a ship, they will bring out a straight to flyable, they will bring out a new concept, and that's just one of the things that they do. Yes, we're getting older ships, the whole sea is coming, all these ships are coming, but it comes down to your opinion really has nothing to do with anything that happens. It has no effect. They might read it, they might discuss it, and it might not even get that far. It might be just you posting a thread. There have been threads that have been replied to, but it's not always going to have anything really positive to come back with. And I see this all the time, and one of them is the HUD display in the ship. There could be something being done about this, but I feel like it needs to be tinted. The colors of your HUD display when you're shooting an enemy needs to be changed, because when it's a bright surface or a white surface, you can't see anything. You just don't know where you're firing. Like, it's just so dumb. And I guess you can use that. I think it's reshade. People use that all the time. And, there's a massive debate. Well, there was a debate saying that, you should be able to use that because it's technically cheating. Well, not really, no. Because it's not really cheating. It's like optimizing and changing the game in a fashion that is advantageous to you. And
I agree
in
with
no
him with
way
reshape,
is it like affecting your aim, like it's not a wall hack or any of that type of stuff,
but I shouldn't
but
have
it's
to use
enhancing and making it better until they do something about the features in the game that we need, you know. And it could always be as simple as like when you have a game, when you change for someone who's colorblind, it could just be that simple, you know, changing the HUD colors. But again, it's just one of those things. And like I said, you know, the title of this video is very it's not clickbaity, but it is again
so
something
far,
that is serious. And it's just, people need to realize that when you suggest something on the Spectrum forums, and a lot of people are going to go against this, and a lot of people are going to, you know, agree with you, and then there's all mixed sort of opinions on Spectrum. And I'm going to admit that, like, Spectrum is a pretty toxic place. It's just amazing.
Spectrum is a place that if I get bored, and no joke, Spectrum is a place that when I get bored and I want to see some manufactured drama, I pop up a bowl of popcorn, I grab a drink, and I sit on the couch and I start scrolling, because I'm either going to get a lot of good laughs, or I'm going to get, I don't want to say agitated, but like annoyed. That's the word I want to use, annoyed. I get annoyed with some of the crap that I see on there. And the fact that some people will speak a truth or a reality of the situation of a game, they get banhammered very quickly. And sometimes, and I won't name their names, but sometimes people will use, some people that are known within the community will put out an opinion or put out a suggestion, and even if it might be a good one, they still get banhammered just because of what their name is, or who their name is, or who they are. Not a big fan of the current HUD. It has been changed a lot over the years. I'm holding my breath that this is not the final HUD. Good morning, Mason. I hope so as well, Jim. I hope that they get what they need figured out and can move on from their bigger projects and address the HUD, because the HUD is an issue. It is, and it needs to be fixed. You know, what is it, their third time, fourth time going over the HUD? You know, maybe the fifth time's a charm. I don't know. But like you said, I'm not a big fan of the HUD, and hopefully it gets changed. I really don't want to have to download yet another third-party program to run Star Citizen and adjust the brightness and the gamma and the contrast and everything else that I can't adjust the way I want to within the game option. So hopefully the HUD is something that gets addressed. And I thought he was going to go a different route with this, but so far he's right. I want to reiterate what I said a few minutes ago. Just because you have a complaint or you have a suggestion or you have an opinion doesn't mean it's shared by a majority of the community. And on top of that, it may not even be shared by the devs. And if in reality, they're the ones making the game. They're going to do what they want, when they want, how they want it. And I don't want to say player be damned, but it's kind of player be damned. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's how they're doing it. And eventually when it comes to tweaks and fixes, they'll get around to it. But for right now, for you to just say, I need this fixed, or I want this fixed, or this needs to come out, or this ship needs to be done, they're not going to listen. It's just not going to happen.
Amazing how toxic it is on there. It's just, I can't believe that this community thinking that, you know, they're so up there in this, you know, high and mighty white knights, and they think they're better than everyone else because, you know, this is an alpha and, you know, their opinion, quote unquote, matters. But in the end of the day, it doesn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of the features and that everything that is being put in the game. Given for 3.19, 3.18, you know, suggesting that, well, saying that, you know, it's a waste of time, and there's massive issues which we all knew and understood that was going to happen because of all the new tech that was being put in place on the.
See, since we're talking about since he had just talked about the HUD and Jim had just brought up the HUD, look at how dark it is, and then you look at the HUD and how bright it is. It washes out a lot of stuff, and you can't really see what's going on. And add into a dogfight or a ship-to-ship fight of any kind. You're on the dark side of a moon, or you're in deep space, and you got the brightness of the HUD. You're trying to chase around a little fighter, or even a medium or heavy fighter, or hell, even a Cuddy Black, and then you add in the weapon light, the weapon bursts when you're firing. It washes out so much stuff, and you can lose your target very easily. So it's something that needs to be fixed, but I think it's very low on their priority list right now.
Back end, everyone understood this, but a lot of people wanted to make a suggestion.
Oh, Squadron
thinking
42.
that they know best.
What a great meat shield that is.
It's just one of those things. Like 3.19 looks really, really good for the features that it has, but again, in the grand scheme of things, it's quite minute into what's going to be happening in 2023
really
of
good
Star
looking.
Citizen. So stop making suggestions. Stop putting your opinion on the Spectrum forums, because you're going to get a lot of hate. People are going to post some nasty stuff. I admit I go in there sometimes and I'll have a little bit of a troll and have a little bit of fun, have a bit of a chat sometimes. But it just needs to stop.
I don't post on Spectrum.
You just need to realize that when you are suggesting something, it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to get anywhere with the CIG team. It might, like 1 in a million. It's like when you report a bug on the reporting thing. I don't know. I haven't been on that for so long. It's stupid, because there's a lot of genuine issues out there, but it's all based off of like a veto system, like a voting system, if you don't know what that means. So if it gets voted higher, well then it's going to be more of a priority. If it's not really voted, it's more or less just ignored or put right on the back burners. Like the Reclaimer has so many issues, but yet they felt like they needed to upgrade that ship and they needed to make it functional for this salvaging gameplay. But they're like, you know what, we're not even going to fix this thing, we're just going to leave it broken. We don't even care about what your opinion matters, like if it matters at all, how you feel. You spend so much money on this ship, it just does not matter. And
No, they've tried fixing it a bunch of times, and every time they say they fixed it, something else breaks. And then every time a new patch comes out, the elevator in the cargo area stops working. Then they get it fixed again, and it works for a few weeks, and then it stops working again. So he's I don't want to say he's wrong, but he's not wrong.
I don't want people to think I'm nasty or blunt about this, but it's just the facts of life and the way life is right now. And I think we just need to let CIG do their thing, move forward. And once we get further in, like once we have server meshing, once we have pyro, then we can start expecting bigger things. And the fact that people don't like all these new concepts, what do you want? Do you want nothing? Do you just want no ships or no vehicles? Don't buy them. Don't complain about it. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. No one cares. Honestly, like, it feels like the scam citizen community and just the generality of the hate towards the game is, it's getting quite substantial. And I felt like I was in that place, for a while there myself. But again, I'm just sitting on the sidelines, letting everything happen. But again, I'm making a comeback and I'm bringing out more content. But let me know what you think. Like, let me know what you feel. How do you feel about what I've just spoken about? Is it something that that is quite of an issue to you? Do you think it's like not really something that matters, or should we all just be like complaining about one thing or a certain features? Because like I said, I don't think it really matters in the masses. Like, it just doesn't have any effect on what's happening in the back. And I could be very wrong, but I just feel like that is one of the things. And it feels like, they say they're an open company and they're here for the community and they listen to the community, but do you really listen to the community? Like Lawville 2.0, if you go and look at that on the CitizenCon when they spoke about it, and you look at it now, it doesn't look anything like what it was in the CitizenCon. And I could be wrong. It just feels like it's really rushed, and a lot of things that they have going here is just rushed. And, I guess it's just my opinion. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you in the verse. Bye-bye.
Let me share this with you guys. That was Lawless Baron, and your opinion doesn't matter. So it's a double-edged sword to talk about this sort of thing, because your opinion does matter to the devs. It's just, how do I put this? Your opinion is only going to be weighed by the rest of the Star Citizen community. If you have an issue, or you're looking for a fix, or you're looking for a ship, or you're looking for whatever it is on Spectrum or Twitter, or however you're reaching out to these guys, they're only going to take a majority. It's like a majority vote, like pure democracy. They're going to take a majority vote, and that's what they're going to work on. They're not going to take, well, my little thing on my Avenger Titan doesn't work. I need this fixed. It's a big deal for me. Well, you're one in, how many accounts do they say they have? 4 million, 4.5 million accounts. You're one in 4.5 million accounts. Your tiny little issue or your tiny little problem doesn't really matter in the large scope of things. Now, if you got 2.5, 3 million of the users saying that these things are issues and these need to be worked on, then they're probably going to bump it up on their priority list. But just because you're whining because a certain feature in your ship doesn't work, or a certain elevator button somewhere in the verse doesn't work, or whatever your concern or your issue or your opinion is on a certain matter, it I hate to say it, but it's a pure democracy thing. Unless the rest of the community sees it as an issue or sees it as something that needs to be worked on, et cetera, they're not going to drop what they're doing to work on that little thing that you have an issue with. And with the way the workload is split right now, from what I understand, it's 80%, 90% of their workforce is focusing on Squadron 42. So the resources that they have to work on the PU are limited and finite. So they're going to weigh it out, see what is a bigger issue or needs a fix, or any of the other variety of options that exist out there. They're going to weigh it, and they're going to see what they can do with it. If it's something that they can quickly fix, then they're going to get to it. If it's something that they can't quickly get to, then it's going to sit to the wayside until they have the opportunity, the time, and the resources for it. That's just the reality of life, and it's the same thing at any other corporation. You can walk into a Walmart and say, I don't like the way this is. Well, just because you don't like it, that's kind of too bad. Now, if they have 100 people go in there and say, I don't like this particular thing, they're probably going to look at that and see what they need to change. But your opinion, your voice, it only goes so far, and that's kind of why we get a multitude of people to join in on this. So that's, I don't know. I mean, I don't think this was clickbaity. It was kind of clickbaity, but it wasn't clickbaity. I think his opinion on this whole thing about sharing your opinion is valid to a point, but it's also invalid to a point. With that, uh, you know, you know the deal. You know the deal. So long, and thanks for all the fish.